The summer 2024 Olympics are underway, and my guest this morning here on Jersey Magazine is someone who has played for the United States on the USA Olympic baseball team a few years ago. Patrick Kivlehan, good morning and welcome to Jersey Magazine.
Good morning, Jim. Thanks for having me.
So tell me your journey that got you onto Team USA. How did that start?
So it's kind of a long one, but it's kind of the roundabout. I was in AAA with the Padres in 2021, and obviously with COVID, the games didn't happen in 2020. They happened in 2021. And for baseball, the MLB wasn't allowing major league players to play. So essentially, they were picking from the best of the guys who were in the minor leagues that year. And I happened to be one of the guys who's having a really good year. So I put myself on the map pretty early in the year to get selected. And then kind of just through the selection process, got the call about maybe 2.5 weeks before we were scheduled to leave that I had made the team. And it was kind of up to my decision. The Padres called me. They had given the okay to Team USA, and then it was completely up to me whether I wanted to go or not. And it was kind of one of those things where I wanted to say yes before they even hung up the phone, before they changed their minds. So I gave them the immediate yes, and then kind of was just getting ready, finishing out the AAA couple of weeks until the break, and then kind of got going with Team USA.
So, in the course of your athletic career, you've worn a number of uniforms. You played football and baseball at St. Joseph's Regional up in Montvale. You played football and eventually baseball at Rutgers. You've worn a number of different professional uniforms, including what, three or four different major league teams. What was it like, though, putting on that Team USA uniform for the first time?
I mean, it's as cool as you would think it'd be. It's the pinnacle of your athletic career getting to represent your country. It's one of those things to where making the MLB, playing D1, playing at a prestigious high school, like those things are all awesome. But to represent your country, to know you're one of the few select that get to, represent, the red, white, and blue and throw on that uniform and go out there and play for your country. It's honestly hard to put into words how special of an opportunity that was.
There was a real New Jersey feel to that team as well. And I should say, New Jersey, there was a Rutgers feel to that team.
Yeah, so Todd Frazier on the team as well. Todd and I had known each other prior, but I'd say that was the event where we really hit it off and kind of, became close. Actually, I'm down the shore right now and I actually saw him down at the boardwalk a couple nights ago, walking around with his family. So I made some great friends on that team, not just Todd, but some other guys as well. And it's a bonding experience that'll last a lifetime with those guys.
And one of the coaches was Darren Fenster, who also
That's right,
went
yeah.
to Rutgers
That's
as
right.
well. So
Yep.
another New
Yep.
Jersey guy.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Of course, he's down in Miami now
Yeah,
coaching.
he's doing really well. He's doing
Yeah.
really well.
He's been a guest a few times here on
Oh, good.
WDHA with us,
Good.
and just a terrific baseball mind to talk
Yeah,
to.
he is. Great mind and a great person too. So
And I have to tell you, from the perspective of watching the games, the Olympic Games here in New Jersey, they were on at a ridiculous time. But doing a morning show, it was easy for me. I just plug the laptop in and go, "Hey, I'm watching the
yeah.
Olympic baseball."
Yeah, it was funny. They would all meet at a bar and watch the games, and I think they were either meeting at like 2 a.m. or 6 a.m. and it was wild times. I think there was one time where we played two games in the span of 24 hours back home, but because in Japan it was a night game followed by a day game, like they didn't even sleep here and they watched two. It was so yeah, wild times, but everyone was real into it and made it work.
So, when you play on a team, there's a bond that's formed. You have a bond with your high school teammates, with your college teammates, with guys you played professional baseball with. What's the bond like with guys who wore that Team USA uniform like? How different is it?
So it was special. So I'll say this because it was obviously during COVID and there were very strict, mandates and rules as to what we could and couldn't do. One of the things was that no family or friends were allowed to come. There were no fans in the stands. So it really made us bond. It really made us become one because we did nothing but hang out with each other for, 2 months essentially. Every day it was just you were hanging out with the same 24 guys who had the same goal. Everyone was trying to pull, everyone was pulling in the same direction, pulling on the same rope. So everyone wanted the same thing, and you're hanging out with each other all day, every day. So you really became close to these guys. And even though, some of us didn't know each other before we started playing with each other, by the end of it, we were all best friends and, friends for life in a sense. So it's one of those things where we all knew kind of how important this opportunity and how cool of a moment this was for everybody. So we definitely didn't take that lightly.
Recently, on a Major League Baseball game, broadcast, Tristan Cassis was given a microphone. And I don't know if you saw that or not, but it was a really funny interview. And
I didn't see it.
he took the microphone and ran with it. Patrick, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. What was he like to play with?
So he was great. He was one of the younger guys, and he played really well for us. He was our first baseman, a couple really big home runs for us. But he was just kind of one of those quirky little, didn't really care what anyone thought of him. He was going to do his thing, and he did. Like he did what he needed to do, and he was great. He produced. He was a great guy in the clubhouse, great guy in the cafeteria. Like he was just, again, one of those guys who just knew how cool of an opportunity this was and wanted to win at all costs and do whatever it took. But he was definitely an interesting guy, but in like the best way possible.
We had you on as a guest here on WDHA a few years ago. So some people may be aware of your story, but you had played football and baseball at St. Joseph's Regional in Montvale. You go to Rutgers, you play football there, don't play baseball until senior year. What was it that made you say, let me give this a try again?
So I remember because in football you do spring football, so you're playing football all year round. And I remember, I don't know if it was my sophomore or my junior year, but standing at spring practice, like beautiful out in the morning, and being like, man, I miss baseball. Like it was just one of those things where it wasn't football season. In my heart, I'm watching and I'm like, we're not supposed to be playing football right now. Like it's supposed to be playing baseball. I had this like missing piece in my soul that I needed to like kind of just fulfill in a sense. And so kind of from there, I started to kind of just plant some seeds in some places and, kind of got the opportunity to talk to the coaches the summer before my senior year. So I just reached out, kind of didn't tell them I wanted a spot or, I kind of told them I wanted to try out. I wanted to earn it. And I wanted to kind of just be a part of a baseball team and scratch that itch one last year and go out and play and kind of caught some fortunate breaks and did really well and ended up getting drafted. And next thing you know, I'm playing professional baseball for 12 years.
Not only did you do it, pretty well, as you say, you were Big East Player of the Year. You put up some
Yeah.
ridiculously
Yeah.
good numbers that senior year.
Well, I got off to a slow start. I was actually the last guy on the team to record a hit, but kind of once I got that hit, it all kind of progressed from there.
So let me ask you a couple of Major League Baseball related questions. Favorite park to play in?
Favorite park? I really liked Wrigley Field. I thought that was really cool, just the history of it. Dodger Stadium was really cool. Um, I really liked Arizona. I don't know why I really liked Arizona, that indoor kind of vibe of the field they had there with the pool in the outfield. So those are three that kind of pop out real quick. I mean, the obvious ones being Yankee Stadium, but to me, Yankee Stadium is always the old stadium. So the new one, like it's cool, but to me, like the old stadium, or like I played in City Field, but like Shea Stadium would have been cooler because those are the kind of the stadiums I grew up with when I was in my diehard fandom of like New York sports. Like, it was Shea Stadium, it was Yankee Stadium, it was Giant Stadium, it wasn't MetLife. So like kind of those older stadiums are the ones that really would have been like, oh my God, like I'm playing in Yankee Stadium.
Going back to your minor league days, do you have a moment that you can share that was most like the movie Bull Durham, which is one of my favorite movies of all time?
Oh my God. Yeah, there's got to be a million. Off the top of I mean, just a million long bus rides of like 10 plus hours, the bus break. Actually, my first year in professional baseball, we were driving back and forth. I was playing for the Everett Aqua Sox, and we are playing against the Vancouver Canadians in the playoffs. And we had driven up to Vancouver for the first game of the playoffs, and we're driving right back to Everett. And it was supposed to be like a 3 hour trip of something, but right before we were going to cross the border to come back into America, our bus broke down. So we sat in Canada for hours and hours and hours waiting for this, the tow truck to come kind of get us, filled us up, finally got back by like the middle of the night, like morning. I was like, well, we got to play again the next morning. So that was it. Honestly, so when I played for the Boulders last year, there were a lot more of those Bull Durham moments than I'd say in the minor leagues because, indie ball is kind of more of the wild, wild west of professional baseball. There were some moments there where let's see, heading into the All-Star break, we were in Florence, Kentucky. And so it was the All-Star break. So we had 3 or 4 days off. So we get to the airport. Now our manager, our trainer, and our other coach had left with all the guys who were going to the All-Star game. I had declined going to the All-Star game because I wanted to spend some time with my family. So I was put in charge since I was a player coach of everyone at the airport. So we're at the airport. I start handing out the tickets, everything going smooth. My first time ever being really in charge of anything. And it was like crazy storms either here or somewhere. And all the flights got canceled out of the whole airport. So now we're scrambling. It's the All-Star break. Everyone wants to get home. We I call up the owner. I said, hey, like, can we get like a bus? Like, guys don't want to wait till tomorrow because no one knew, the flight for customer service was 3 miles long. So no one wanted to do that. They wanted to get home as soon as possible. So we talked about, can we get like a bus? And he said, well, I can't get the bus till tomorrow night. I can get you guys hotel rooms, but no one wanted to wait. So then people throw out the idea, well, can we rent a car and just, road trip it through the night? I was like, well, I'll ask. So I called him up and he said, yeah, if 3 or 4 guys want to rent cars, like I'll reimburse you guys and kind of just get home, like save your receipts. So that's what we did. Everyone, because there are a lot of guys there who aren't 25, so they can't rent cars. So the couple of us who were older, we rented the cars and we packed up. We got in the cars at maybe 7, 8 at night, and we literally just 3 hour shifts, bang, 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 throughout the night, and got in at like 7 a.m. So that was a pretty wild one last year, I'd say.
So what are you doing baseball wise these days?
So I'm a full-time T-ball coach for my daughter and my son. That's kind of the good fix I get now from baseball. But I'm also doing like some lessons, some camps. I ran my first camp last week. It's called Kiv's Baseball Academy, just to kind of introduce myself to kids in the area that are, kind of want to take that next step and have a little fun with baseball. There's a lot out there in baseball that I agree with and some I don't agree with. So I wanted to give kind of kids an avenue to just kind of enjoy it, and not feel that pressure of making a travel ball team or going to a camp that's affiliated with a travel ball team, or you have to do this camp to make this team. Like, I kind of wanted to give kids like an opportunity, a platform to just go and have fun and enjoy the game of baseball, not feel that extra added stress and pressure to perform in a setting to where, might set you up for the future. I wanted to give them a place to come actually get better and not kind of have that hanging over their head. So we had our first camp last week. It was, I thought, a huge success. A lot of kids from a lot of different areas around Bergen County and Rockland County. So it was definitely a lot of fun and something I'm hoping kind of grows throughout the years.
You mentioned your two older kids. You recently had another baby about 3 months ago. How have
Yeah.
the two older ones adapted to the newborn in the house?
Oh, they've been great. My daughter always wants to feed them, hold them. My son just waiting for him to get old enough to where he can rough them up a little bit, but it'll be that typical brother dynamic. But my oldest daughter, she's like, mama bear, always wanting to feed them, hold them, talk like a baby to them. So it's really been an enjoyable experience so far.
And you've come full circle. You're back at St. Joseph's Regional in kind of an administrative role. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so when I was playing for the Boulders last year, I kind of wanted to figure out what I wanted to start doing next. And St. Joe's had reached out and we had mutually kind of said we were both interested in kind of getting together. And there was an opportunity to be the director of student affairs. And I wanted to be back in the building. And it was something I kind of wanted to do in a role to help out a lot of the students, kind of since I experienced a lot of things that a lot of those guys who go there want to experience. I thought it was the perfect opportunity to go there and kind of give back and be in the building and be able to help those guys out on a daily basis.
Well, it's been great catching up with you again. You and I go back a long way, and best of luck
Yeah.
with everything you're doing, both at St. Joe's, your kids baseball camps, and all of that, Patrick. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. It was great seeing you.